In the Fort on Forest Avenue.
103 drives in right side, lays it up good.
Gets the outlet pass and slams at the other end. Launches a long three. Hits it.
Rock Solid Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
Ready?
Welcome in, everyone, to Rock Solid Sports. It's your host, Joseph Bonanno here. I got Jack Foster next to me across the glass. We got Bryson Wright, freshly out of the hospital. We got Jackson Williams. And over at the Hill Bar and Grill, we have our man, Riley Haltom. Riley, how is it going down there at the Hill? And what's the atmosphere like?
Man, you know how it is down here at the Hill. It's always a good time. Getting full. They got the games on. So, yeah, come down here. Come talk to me for a minute. You know, it's a good atmosphere down here at the Hill.
All right. Thank you, Riley. And, guys, across the glass, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing okay. I don't know why you have to put my business out there like that, though. I'm like, dang. But
hey, listen. I need to our friends and our listeners need to know that their favorite NBA guy is healthy and back. You've missed the week. And
yeah, I'm doing
good
though. I'm doing fine. Thank you though. I'm doing.
I'm not going to tell them why you're in the hospital.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
Yeah.
Snowboarding accident, right?
Yeah, it was definitely Bryson fought a bear. That's what it was. The Belmont Bruins brought a bear when they came to Knoxville on Monday, and Bryson fought it. That's why. Anyways, speaking of Lady Vols, they are headed to Wichita, Kansas. Actually, they're in Wichita, Kansas right now. And they're set to face the number 1 seed Louisville Cardinals. And I know we talked a little bit about it on Wednesday, but the game's tomorrow. And so I think we should probably get into it and see, do the Lady Vols actually have a chance here?
Yeah, I think they have a chance. I mean, they've shown time and time again this season how they can win improbable games, how they have that will to win, that grit. But with Jordan Horston out, I think that chance is very, very minimal. I think their season is just going to come to an end. I would expect them to play a tough game. If they can keep it within 10, I say that's a win. But I expect them to lose without Jordan Horston.
Look, I'm sorry. You know I'm a huge Lady Vols fan, but I do not see them winning this game. They struggled. They struggled with Buffalo. They struggled with Belmont. This is a whole different animal. Louisville has been a top 5 team in the country the whole year. They're number 1 seed for a reason. Without Jordan Horston, I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done. Maybe if Horston was playing, it would be they would have a much better chance. But without her, I do not really give them a chance in this game, especially since in those last 2 games, too, they were also playing at home and they still struggled.
Right.
And now they're not going to be at home anymore.
They're going to have to have the shooting night of their life. That's just what it's going to come down to. Because they can rebound, but they just have to shoot well.
And, Tamara Key's going to have to play a lot more consistent in that paint. It's just
this is Bunny's time and time again.
Yeah, and I've noticed whenever she gets in foul trouble, she stops playing defense, and that's what makes her so effective for the Lady Vols. Is she can score in the paint, whatever, but her defense is really what kind of makes them go. And when she's in foul trouble, she literally stops playing. I remember I think in the Kentucky game when she came back in the SEC tournament, Kentucky had a player drive on her and she just stepped out. And then you had Ray Burrell under the basket looking silly because she was just like, where's my help? I need my 6'9" center there to back me up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Tamari. It just seems that sometimes she kind of checks out. I wish that I could take Alexis Dye and give her Tamari Key's size,
frame,
because the way that Alexis Dye plays is the way that I wish Tamari Key would play, especially on the offensive end, because she is fearless going to the hole. And for some reason, it just seems like Tamari Key doesn't have that in her on the offensive end. Now, on defense, whenever she's engaged, she's one of the best defenders in the country. But it does seem like sometimes she just is going through the motions. but they cannot have her going through the motions tomorrow if they want to win that game. If she's not playing at her best on both sides of the ball, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, I will say though, like you said, you wish Alexis Dye's energy was with, Tamari Key's height. Let's talk about Alexis Dye for a second. She has been lights out this postseason.
I mean, ever since Jordan Horston went out, she's been the heart and soul of this team. She's kind of been that driving force that's keeping them going. And I think she's honestly the reason they are in the Sweet 16 right now. I mean, without her, the Lady Vols really have no inside scoring. I mean, I know Tamari Key's there, but like she's doing everything.
4 straight double doubles. I mean, that just says it all.
And Ray Burrell, obviously, another big piece for that offense, is still not the Ray Burrell that we all expected to come in. She's gotten a lot better over the season. And don't get me wrong, she's playing some of the best basketball she has all season. But it's still not at that level. So the Lady Vols are really going to have to lean on Alexis Dye when it comes to the offense against this very stout Louisville Cardinals team.
Yeah, and I think Ray was only 2 for 12 in that game against Belmont, so it just didn't seem like she ever got in a rhythm either. They're going to need everybody to be in a rhythm tomorrow. That's just what it's going to have to be if they want to even have a chance. Everybody's going to have to play their best game of the season because you know what Louisville is going to bring. Like I said, they're a 1 seed for a reason. They've blown teams out all year, and they're one of the best teams in the country. So it's going to be tough for them to come out with a win. Obviously, as UT students, we're going to be cheering for them, but it's going to be tough.
Well, looking at Louisville right now, in their last 3 games, they beat Gonzaga by 11. They beat a 16 seed Albany by 32. And then they lost to Miami by 2 in the ACC tournament quarterfinals. So, I mean, this team is beatable. I mean, every team is beatable, especially in March when you go into that bracket. But, man, the Lady Vols definitely drew a pretty difficult opponent to face in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and, people talk about them struggling against Belmont, but Belmont came out as a whole different team in that second half, and kind of punched Tennessee in the mouth. And I thought it was really good of Tennessee to kind of rebound and ultimately win that game. I did not think they were going to win once Belmont took the lead. I thought it was pretty much over. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, Sarah Puckett saved the day. But
I know, I definitely, because it was, like you said, 14-point lead. And when Belmont came storming back, it just seemed like, okay, Lady Vols are going to get taken out by a Cinderella. Because, I mean, let's face it, Belmont was a Cinderella at the time. They beat number 6. They beat 6 seed or it was 5 seed. 5 seed. They beat 5 seed Oregon. Then they came in and they played a phenomenal game against the Lady Vols, especially in that second half. I mean,
their point or
they outplayed the Lady Vols in the second half.
Yeah, their guard duo, Destiny Wells and Tootie Jones, just 32 combined points in that second half.
I mean, yeah, it's just the Lady Vols are definitely, and it's weird because we've seen all season with this Lady Vols team, like their defense seems to get better, in those second and third quarters. But in the first and fourth quarter, I think they play some of the worst defense that you can in college basketball. And when you're going up against Louisville, you cannot have those quarters where your defense just disappears, especially in the fourth quarter. Because if the Lady Vols offense can keep going, they keep this game close, they're going to have to rely on that defense and Tamari Key to keep them in the game and give their offense a chance at even coming back.
Yeah.
So we will see. Do you know what time they play tomorrow?
4 Eastern.
They play at 4 p.m. Eastern time, Wichita, Kansas. That game will be broadcasted on
ESPN2, I believe.
ESPN2. So make sure you guys check out the Lady Vols tomorrow as they try to get their first berth to the Elite Eight since
I think it's still since 2016. I think they went that far.
In 2016. It's been forever since the Tennessee basketball team has been that far. Hopefully the Lady Vols can do it. But we're going to switch over to a pretty good team on campus. If I would say top 5 team, if you will, number 1 in some polls. Because NCAA baseball is wild and they got like 40 different polls. The Vol baseball team, they take on Ole Miss tonight down there at Ole Miss. The game will come on here in about 20 minutes. They are facing number 1 Ole Miss. I think I really don't know what to expect out of this game. I talked to Coach Vitello yesterday before they left, and he seemed really confident. And Redmond Walsh as well and Trey Lipscomb, they also seem really confident heading here into Ole Miss, but they know that this is the time where they got to show, hey, we're deserving of that top 5, even that number 1 spot in the country. Just what do you guys think about this matchup with number 1 Ole Miss?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, Ole Miss is deep. They're deep everywhere. But I go back to that Texas game and what we saw Chase Burns do, just how composed he was on the mound in a big stage against a big opponent. I don't see why it would be any different. He's used to these kinds of moments, playing a lot of upper-level high school ball. So I think tonight Tennessee actually should be favored to get the win. I think they're going to go down to Oxford and they're going to punch them in the mouth tonight. Their lineup has just been hitting the best they have all season, so they're going to carry a lot of momentum into this matchup. I'm more worried about tomorrow than I am tonight. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, see, the thing that gives me a lot of confidence is just the way that the Tennessee Bats have been throughout the season. I'm pretty sure they're leading the country in home runs and hits. Basically, every offensive category they're leading. Trey Lipscomb has been playing amazing. I think that is really what gives you a lot of confidence in that team. And the pitching has been better than a lot of people expected because, Blade Tidwell has been out, which everybody knew he was going to be a starter, and he hasn't played at all. And people were a little bit worried about the pitching rotation, but the pitching rotation has stepped up. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do tonight.
Yeah, Chase Burns, Coach Vitello has said it over and over and over again that Chase Burns, who is a freshman, goes out there and he treats it like he's a professional. Like he's been in this game for years. He's pitching in the majors. He's getting, this is his day in, day out job, which it kind of is. But, being a freshman, that's impressive to have someone to go out there in almost every performance. You see that kind of that personality of, I know I belong here. And Tony Vitello said that he's much him and Drew Beam are both much like Blake Tidwell was last year, and they want to win. They want to be a great pitcher. They want to be great at the game of baseball, and not a lot of guys in college baseball are like that. And so, for Vitello to have 2 of those guys on their rotation or in the rotation right now, with Blake Tidwell possibly coming in here in the next month or 2,
I would expect it soon. Based off of what he said.
It seemed like Blade was really, really close, and transfer Seth Halverson was right behind them. So it's going to be interesting. But they got a tough test this weekend with number 1 Ole Miss. And, I don't know about you, but I think I'm more worried about the bullpen than I am the starting pitching.
Yeah, because we saw it in the Texas game where Chase Burns threw, what was it, 6 lights out innings?
It was 5 innings. It was 6 innings, and he was getting up to like 90 pitches, and Vitello pulled him because of that.
Yeah, I mean, and you like really saw him lights out, but then Camden Sewell came in and laid an egg, and that, I mean, obviously that can't happen this weekend. Camden Sewell is an experienced guy and a guy they really rely on to give them innings. So you're going to have to see the bullpen step up. I want to see heavy Ben Joyce action.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I want to see him.
Tony Vitello has told us that he can go 4 innings. 4 innings in a game. He said 3 to 4. They could give him the ball for 3 to 4 innings, throwing 103.
Yeah, he said he's ready to rock and roll, and he's going to have to be ready to rock and roll this weekend because they're heading into Oxford, and the Rebels are led by they got sophomore Jacob Gonzalez, who's currently hitting .323, 5 homers and 14 RBIs on the season. That's not really comparable to Trey Lipscomb, who's had a phenomenal season so far. I
think he's up to 40 RBIs now.
40 RBIs in 21 games. That is wild.
What teams has Ole Miss played so far? Like really like blue blood programs? Because Tennessee, obviously, they have not really played other than that one weekend. But who has Ole Miss played really?
You're going to give me a second.
All right, so they beat UCF in a series, but they didn't sweep. Then they played Oral Roberts, and they beat them, but didn't sweep. Then they played Auburn. They beat them in the series, but didn't sweep. Their only sweep happened at the beginning of the year against Charleston Southern. So
that powerhouse program. But
and what days did they lose? Like Friday through Sunday. Which days?
Okay, against UCF they lost on Saturday. Against Oral Roberts they lost on Sunday, and then against Auburn they lost on Saturday.
All right, so it looks like if UT really wants to get through here, they're going to need. I think Friday is their biggest chance. If they win Friday, I say they win the series.
That's yes.
But if they lose Friday, they're gonna. I mean, obviously they're gonna have to win Saturday to win the series. But I think Saturday, I think they have a good shot because look, even though Chase Dollidaire has been not the best pitcher on the team for the Vols, he's still putting out light.
He can string the case together.
He's putting out light out numbers right now. I mean, I think he's top 10 in the NCAA in strikeouts right now. Yeah. I mean, he's been phenomenal, and the fact that he's not even the best pitcher on the team right now is just wild.
And we talk about this Tennessee pitching, the starting lineup. We talked about this on Wednesday. I love this the three-headed monster they have on the weekends right now because it's so different. You have Drew Beam, who is your pitch to contact type of hitter. You have Dollander, your strikeout guy, and Burns is a little bit in the middle. And so you have three different ways that Ole Miss is going to have to attack Tennessee at the plate.
Yeah, and then not to mention that your bullpen is vastly different. I mean, you got guys like Redmond Walsh who's going to come out there and he's going to pitch a little weird lefty, a little slower. Then you got Ben Joyce who's obviously going to come out there and give you a 104, 105 maybe. We've seen it in practice. And then you're going to get some Sewell who's pretty much he's got starter stuff. So don't get me wrong, he's got starter stuff. And he can go a while, he can go short. And you got Kirby Cannell. I mean, the energy that comes off of Cannell, not even just his talent-wise pitching, just the way he carries himself.
Swagger on the mound.
It really is swagger. And then it's not going to happen, but I would love to see Drew Beam out there on that. I mean, it's never going to happen on an SEC series, but I would love to see Drew Beam out there pitching, unless the Vols are up 50-0.
You mean Drew Gilbert?
Or Drew Gilbert. That's what I meant. Yeah, Drew Gilbert.
Drew Beam has
Drew Beam.
Drew Gilbert.
There's too many
against South Carolina. You were there.
There's too many Drews on the team. Drew Gilbert. I would love to see him pitch because I think he would bring some swagger that Kirby Cannell brings. I think it'd be hilarious to watch him pitch. But again, I feel
like he's definitely better as a hitter though. They don't need him. They don't need him to pitch.
You can't lose him in center field and at the plate. I mean, even if he did pitch, they'd probably let him hit too. But they probably wouldn't. They just DH for someone else. But
hey, speaking of DH, I was looking at the starting lineup tonight. Simo is starting. So
Christian Moore, freshman Christian Moore, who's had 7 home runs in 32 at bats, I believe.
He's been crushing.
I mean, Vitello says it himself. If you can hit, you don't sit. So
I mean, that's really what you want. And before we go to break, Jack, you want to give us a little bit of a lineup update because you have that
just up tonight.
Yeah, for tonight.
Okay, yeah. So the two positions that are always fluctuating.
Hold up, timeout. Before you do that, Blade Tidwell is on the active list for the weekend series against Ole Miss.
Where did you get that?
Wes Rucker from Go Vols 24/7. He and I just saw his tweet, but Blade Tidwell is on the active. It doesn't mean he'll pitch, but Tony Vitello said he is available to come out of the bullpen when he comes back, and
that would be crazy. Honestly,
against the number one team in the country, I don't know if he's gonna. They want to bring him back against that level of talent, though. That's the only thing.
I'd probably
see how crazy this can get.
Well,
it would be funny if they played the Undertaker music, and Blade Tidwell just starts running out of the bullpen in the 7th inning.
I was thinking of if Blade ever comes out of the bullpen, that New Day meme of them eating popcorn in the WWE stands. That's immediately what my brain went to.
I mean, that'd be funny, but. That's something to watch here this weekend if the Vols. But get back to Jack with this starting lineup.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, the only two positions that have really been fluctuating for Tennessee all season is the DH spot in left field. Jared Dickey gets to start in left field tonight. No really surprise there. I feel like he's their best option. So he's going to lead off for Tennessee. Jarrell Ortega in the 2 slot tonight, followed by Beck and Gilbert. Gilbert playing cleanup, of course. Then Lipscomb keeping his role at 5. Evan Russell starting at catcher. Christian Moore, DH. Luke Lipsius and Cortland Lawson round out the lineup at first base and shortstop, respectively, with freshman Chase Burns taking on the mound tonight against the Rebels in Oxford.
I like Lipsius in the 8 spot.
Yeah, I do too.
Because he doesn't have the best one of the best bats on the team, but he's a veteran who'll get you those nice little blue hits to keep innings going, get you back to the top of your lineup, and he has some sneaky power. I think I looked at Jack and I said something along the lines.
Do you really want to broadcast what you say?
I didn't think he had warning track power for a while. It seemed like every ball he hit really hard went to the warning track.
Who, Lipsius?
Yes.
I mean, he's been like that. He was like that last year.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because I mean, this was like the second game of the year. I was like, he just has warning track power. And then I think like the next at bat, he hit an absolute tank. But he's got sneaky power. I mean, 8 spots just nice for him.
Yeah. And, he has been struggling a little bit lately. And we saw it with Max Ferguson last year all the time when he was struggling up there in that 2, and maybe that leadoff spot. Vitello dropped him down like to the 8-9 hole. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Ferguson started hitting lights out. And guess what? He brought him right back up, and he just continued that success. So maybe Lipsius will find the same success there. And he will be able to.
Sorry, I was going to say, is there anybody in particular you're like wanting a big weekend from in the lineup?
I want to see Trey Lipscomb do what he's done against a really good SEC team, just so I can, say, because Iona, okay.
Yeah, that's who he torched.
I mean, Iona, okay, cool. Georgia Southern, okay, cool. You do it against the number 1 team in the country, you're going to have eyes all over you. And it's not just from ball fans. It's going to be from MLB as well. So I really want to see Trey Lipscomb just prove that he belongs here and that what he's doing is not a fluke and it's not just because of the competition, that he can do it in the SEC. And I think he's going to. I don't know if he's going to have a huge weekend like he's going to at Iona, but I want to see some consistency from him, especially at the plate.
I want Jordan Beck to have a big weekend. I feel like
he's due.
I feel like in Texas, when they went to Texas, they obviously played Texas, Baylor, and Oklahoma. He hit a lot of really hard balls. He obviously had that one that was just smoked in a left field, but hit a lot of balls that would have been home runs in college parks that just in the MLB park it wasn't. And so I think he's due for a big weekend.
Absolutely. And we are going to go to break. Stay with us because next segment we will talk some NFL because I look, you can't the amount of NFL stuff that's happened, you cannot get enough. So stay tuned. This is Rock Solid Sports on WUTK 90.3, The Rock.
The Rock stays on air thanks to our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor, The Hill Bar and Grill in the Fort on Forest Avenue. Open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. till late night with appetizers including spicy cheese beans and fried pickles and a menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. HD TVs everywhere for Tennessee and pro sports with an outdoor patio and 2 levels of entertainment, trivia, karaoke, and weekend DJs. The Hill sponsors the student section at Ice Bears games and is the Friday home for Rock Solid Sports. More at thehillknox.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from listeners and from the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team, whose 2021-2022 home ice season includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, and others at the Civic Coliseum in downtown Knoxville. The Ice Bears regular season runs through April 9th, and season and single game tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Tune in to WUTK Rock Solid Sports for the Wednesday Ice Bears news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
Volunteer Radio stays on air thanks to Cool Beans, the 21-up college sports bar next to campus on Lake Avenue, a block off the strip. Cool Beans has 25 rotating beer taps and bottles. HD TVs everywhere, along with darts, pool, and arcade games. Open every day at 11 a.m. till late night. Burgers, wings, and sandwiches, vol card accepted. Cool Beans hosts Rock Solid Sports every Monday night at 7. Trivia Tuesdays, Bingo Thursdays. More on Instagram at Knox Cool Beans or CoolBeansBar.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to listener donations and support from the UT Athletic Department. After making it to Omaha last season, the 2022 baseball ball season begins in February and runs into May, featuring games with SEC rivals South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Season group and individual game ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show their valid UT ID at the gate for entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Volunteer Radio remains on air thanks to support from Fieldhouse Social, a modern sports bar and restaurant next to the UT campus at University Commons. Open every day at 11 a.m., serving American craft fare, beer, and cocktails inside or on the covered patio. With over 25 HD TVs at every angle and all UT games shown on the 20-foot LED TV wall. At FH Social Knox on Instagram, fieldhousesocial.com.
Support to keep WUTK on air comes from listeners and from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Texas A&M, Auburn, and others. AllVols.com for Lady Vols softball tickets and more. UT students need a valid UT ID for admission to all home games. WTK's Rock Solid Sports provides UT softball coverage. Volunteer Radio wishes the 2022 Lady Vols softball team good luck as they compete to return to the College Softball World Series. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for tuning back in to Rock Solid Sports. I'm your host, Joseph Bonanno. Next to me, I got Jack Foster across the glass. We got Bryson and Jackson. And over at the Hill Bar and Grill, we have our man, Riley Houghton. Riley, how is the Hill tonight?
The Hill is great as always. You know, I was down here for just about 30 minutes. I already made a friend. So, you know how it is down here. Always good vibes, good food, good drinks. So, get down here. Come get you some right here at the Hill.
Awesome. Thank you, Riley. And guys, I know we just got done talking about Vol baseball, but during that quick break, we saw some news coming out from Oxford. Lane Kiffin threw out the first pitch with a golf ball.
Total psych moment.
Okay, as much as I don't like Lane Kiffin, I do love that. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
He rolled the baseball aside and then threw the golf ball.
That's elite trolling right there. I'll give him.
I mean,
that.
when Ole Miss said that Lane Kiffin was going to throw out the first pitch, I knew something was going to happen. I didn't
think it was the golf ball because he kept it and it was on his desk.
I don't know. Someone's got to ask. Someone's going to have to ask someone after the game and figure that out, because if it is, Vol fans are not going to be happy about that.
That takes it to a whole nother level. And honestly, that's like a sign of respect. I think they should wear it as a badge of honor.
Who, you think Ole Miss should or Tennessee should?
UT fans, that he thinks that much about Tennessee that he
keeps that golf ball.
That he keeps that golf ball on his desk and stuff like that, and threw it out as a baseball first pitch.
Well, you can't beat Lane Kiffin trolling. I mean, it's just absolutely wild what he brings to the internet. And what trolling is. But
hey, I think Heupel dethroned him for best recruiting picture.
Oh,
Lane was in the Bugatti or whatever it was, like the super sick supercar. But Heupel with Nico in the G-Wagon.
That was sick.
Stadium, that dethroned.
I mean, it was a phenomenal picture, and
the Jeep with Nico, yeah.
But, right now, we're going to get into some NFL because it has been a wild month in the NFL.
Wild.
I mean, I don't even know where do you guys want to start?
I mean, I think we should start with Tyreek Hill and go into the Dolphins. I think that's where we should start just because that's been the biggest news this week.
And just kind of work our way back.
Yeah, we can work our way back from there. The thing I want to say about Tyreek Hill is I understand why he went to the Dolphins, because whenever somebody's putting that much money on the table in front of you, you have to take it, especially when it's more than what the Chiefs were offering. Now, I understand that he's probably not going to win as much, but you also have to keep in mind he's already won a ring. So I think it's a little bit different. Once you've already won a ring, it's not as important. That money talks a lot more when you've already been a winner before. And I think that was important.
And in the NFC currently, looking at what's going on in the NFC or in the AFC, my bad. I don't think the Chiefs they'll make the playoffs, but I mean,
I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. Without Tyreek.
I don't know. I don't know. Top 3. I don't think they're top 3. I don't think they're top 5 without Tyreek.
Wow.
Well, you don't think that? I don't.
That's not crazy to say. That's not crazy to say, though.
Well, in the fact
Juju
that
Smith is gonna. I mean, yeah, I don't see them being a top 5 team.
And the fact that they're not bringing back their top safety dude. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu still a free agent. Daniel Sorensen just signed with the Saints today. their defense is not going to be as good. And I know Daniel Sorensen played horrible last year for the Chiefs, but I mean, Tyrann Mathieu didn't. Tyrann Mathieu came back and he had a pretty good season. And so,
oh yeah, when he went out in the Buffalo game, you saw their defense fall apart. Gabriel Davis had 4 tutties.
Yeah, and so I don't know what they're going to do on defense. I mean, obviously that defensive line.
They got Justin Reed.
Wow,
Justin Reed is a really good safety. There's only one good player on the Texans this past year, and it was Justin Reed.
Okay, they're going to have one safety. I mean,
they had Daniel Sorensen. I mean,
they still got a
yeah, but okay, but
yeah,
I'm taking Tyrann Mathieu over Reed.
I don't know. They got Younger at the position. I mean,
Younger isn't always better.
But I mean, a younger All-Pro level player. I mean, not first. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu currently is in his prime, but for the future of the Chiefs, it was a good move to get Justin Reed.
Y'all are getting in the weeds a little bit. I think the Chiefs will still find a way to win. And going back to Tyreek, Bryson, money talks, but I actually think Miami talks. I mean,
That's
what
true.
would you rather live in, Miami or Kansas City at this stage in your career when you already got a ring? He's going to go live it up down in South Florida.
Plus, he's from Miami. He's not from Miami, but he's from the area.
Okay.
He said he already had a house out there.
I just don't think Tyreek's focus right now is being all in on winning, and that's why I think he might not end up panning out as well as people think. Like Jackson, he will with the Dolphins. I mean, I just don't see that first team All-Pro potential unless they land
like the great Alabama teams that Tua was on. They're going to have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. They're going to tell him run a slant. They're going to be like Tua, pick one. They're both fast. Like they can both take it to the house.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You got to rely on Tua to actually make the decision because he has not been the best decision maker in the NFL so far.
That's true, but I think that when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as your wide receivers, it makes it a lot easier. And they've also given him a better offensive line. I'll say this is the make or break year for Tua.
Oh, absolutely.
If Tua can't win this year, if they don't make the playoffs, I think they're going to move on from him.
Yeah.
This is the make or break year for him.
Yeah, it has to be with all the weapons they've gotten. I mean, 2 running backs, 2 new receivers. They franchise tagged Gesicki. Obviously, Waddle's still there. They're loaded on offense. But, with Hill, I just want to say, I'll say it now, I would not be surprised if he suddenly becomes more injury prone. I just have that gut feeling.
Who? Tyreek?
Yes. I just feel like he's going to miss more games somehow. It's like, I don't know, just where he's going in his career. He's got a lot of money now. I think he might check out a little bit.
I mean, it's possible, but well, you just have to wait and see. Because
you have to wait and see with everything, really. But yeah.
So moving on, what should we talk about next? Because
Matt Ryan.
We didn't get into Matt Ryan. You're right. Because I had my little spiel at the end, which
him and the Ice Cubes made their indie debut.
It was a little bit of a rant and me just trying to have a little bit of fun. But as a Titans fan, I gotta be honest, I am worried about Matty. I am worried about Matty Ice.
Why?
The Colts got significantly better at quarterback, and they were already a decent team.
You know who had the better season out of Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz last year?
Yes, Matt Ryan Carson Wentz had the better season.
Exactly. Why are you scared?
But Matt Ryan's better than Carson Wentz. He was just on a horrible Falcons roster.
But in terms of weapons, you could say Matt Ryan had better weapons.
Yeah, but now Matt Ryan actually has a run game. You know what happened
That's true.
You know what happened when
time out.
When the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, they had Todd Gurley.
No, they
didn't. No, they're
They
not
had
Todd Gurley.
Devontae Freeman in his prime.
Devontae Freeman. Sorry, I was thinking of Todd Gurley coming back. They had Devontae Freeman in his prime. And Devontae Freeman's a really good running back, and he was when he was balling in the league. He's going to have a way better running back now with better wide receivers than he had last year. Better wide receivers than he had last year. Because let's be honest, you had Kyle Pitts and
once Ridley was gone, it was nothing.
You had Kyle Pitts and Russell Gage.
Yeah, and Russell Gage was injury prone.
Don't forget about Tajay Sharp.
Wow, Tajay Sharp. As a Titans fan, you saying that makes me laugh.
But Michael Pittman is better than all of those guys. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Michael Pittman you saying Michael Pittman's better than Kyle Pitts?
Michael Pitts.
No,
okay, Kyle Pitts is a tight end, but they have a lot more weapons. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is going to be running out of the backfield a lot more. And the Falcons literally had to rely on Cordero Patterson to be their offense. The only reason they won games, the only reason they won 6 games is because Cordero Patterson
literally did everything.
Literally, exactly.
Now, this is what I will say about the Colts. The reason why Matt Ryan does scare me a little bit more than Carson Wentz is because Matt Ryan is not known for throwing interceptions at the worst possible time.
Agreed.
That's what Carson Wentz did. That's why the Colts didn't make the playoffs. If Carson Wentz just could make the right play in the fourth quarter, the Colts probably would have won 11 or 12 games last season. And I think that Matt Ryan is going to be able to do that. He doesn't make the play that loses you the game.
And let's not forget, when they lost to the Jags, everyone was scared of Indy before that. Like, everyone was scared of Indy being that playoff team to make a run as a wild card.
Yeah, when they signed Carson Wentz, I mean, everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
But even
oh my god, the Colts are going to make the play. They're going to win the division, and then obviously Carson Wentz proved everyone wrong.
But they were a second half team, is what I'm getting. You know, and then they obviously fell apart in the last week and lost to the Jags
because you can't trust Carson Wentz in the big game. You've never been able to.
I mean, they couldn't run the ball with. I mean, it wasn't just Carson Wentz lost in that game.
I mean, it wasn't just Carson Wentz.
But Carson Wentz was the reason that they lost a lot of their games. The Titans game that went to overtime, they should have won that. And let's be honest, they should have.
Yeah, they gave the Titans gave up a 14-0 start.
Yeah,
on the jump.
Yeah, well, they had a 14-0 start, or Colts had a 14-0 lead. Then Titans obviously came back, but then the Colts had the ball first in overtime. And
the Colts also had the ball in their own territory with a chance to win the game.
Exactly. And what did Carson Wentz do? He threw it away. Matt Ryan is not going to do that. Matt Ryan's not going to throw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter or overtime.
Also, I think the Colts pass protection is a little bit overrated currently.
It's a lot better than what the Falcons had.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could say that. It's better, but it's not because of their left tackle situation currently. It's not hugely better.
Free agency,
Falcons though. The
free agency is not over.
Bad. They were bad last year.
Free agency's not over. The draft is still there.
Yeah, the Colts are going to get more weapons. Don't think they aren't. So
I think they go after a wide receiver.
They had, yeah.
I mean, T.Y.
Chris Olave?
Yeah, no, let him.
No, they're not going to.
They don't have a first round pick.
Drake London.
They don't have a first round
pick. They have to rely on a second round receiver.
AJ Brown, second round receiver.
Pittman. Like it's.
I think Drake London could fall to the second round with his big injury, and they get the USC tandem boys going.
Hey, either way, listen, I think the Colts, if they make the right moves, which is a big if, because Chris Ballard has proven to make a stupid move as the GM every single year he's been there. I mean, they have not been to the playoffs since he took over as GM.
Yeah, they have. They went in 2020.
Yeah, with Rivers.
Oh, okay. Well, they haven't done anything.
They were 7th seed and got bounced.
Yeah, they got bounced as a 7th seed.
But
okay.
They went to. I think they made the divisional round.
They haven't won
they
haven't won the division in Lord knows how long.
Yeah, since before the Jags run, right?
It was
2014.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been almost a decade before since they won the division. It's just I don't trust Chris Ballard to make the right moves until he proves me wrong. I mean, I still think the Titans are going to win the division. I just think that they should be worried about the Colts because it's possible.
The Colts are an improved team. There's no doubt about it.
They're improved. It doesn't move the needle for them to be the favorites to win the division.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying they're going to be the favorites in the division either.
I currently would take the Titans offense, what I think it's going to look like in 2022 over the 2021 offense. Because I think they're going to I think they're going to make another move at receiver. I think Robert Woods is going to be better than Julio Jones. Hooper is a massive upgrade that I feel like the Titans made all their moves when like the big stuff was happening, so it really fell under the radar. Like Deshaun Watson got traded, and 5 minutes later the Titans signed Austin Hooper, and then something happened with something happened with a team, and then we got Robert Woods.
Yeah,
I think it was A-Rob, maybe. I don't care. It was all going on.
Well, we've seen what happens the last few times that when J-Rob makes the move in the spotlight, not panned out. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney didn't pan out. Because last year, Bud Dupree was not a spotlight move.
Yes, it was.
It was not as much in the spotlight as Julio Jones and Jadeveon Clowney was.
It was still a tier. He was like one of the top 5 free agents available.
No. I'm not saying that it wasn't like an awesome pickup. I'm just saying it wasn't like heavily like covered by the NFL or by NFL media.
It was heavily covered. It was heavily covered, but the Julio Jones trade was definitely covered a lot.
Yeah, and
more.
the Jadeveon Clowney saga had way more media attention.
Even before they knew that they were coming to the Titans, they were
Jadeveon
Clowney
did
segments.
a whole show. He did like a 6-month tour. It was wild what Jadeveon Clowney did. He's not even that good.
But the thing with Bud Dupree is it was a little more under the radar than we have seen the big free agent moves from the Titans. And I think that this year you again had the same things with under the radar. You You got Robert Woods, which is an under the radar trade. I mean, you only gave up a 6th-round pick for him, which a next year's 6th-round pick. So you don't even give up stock in this year's draft. The 2023 6th-round pick, which is a steal for the Titans. Obviously, it's a 30-year-old wide receiver coming off an ACL tear, but Robert Woods fits the scheme. He's a guy who will go out there and he can make plays with his catching ability, with a route running ability, but he's also going to go out there and block
and help A.J. Brown.
Robert Woods will be for the offense what Danico Autry was for the Titans defense last season.
I think that's a perfect comparison. And then Austin Hooper, getting Austin Hooper is going to elevate Ryan Tannehill's game, because we saw in 2019 and in 2020, when Tannehill had his best success with the Titans, what did the Titans have? Tight ends. They had tight ends that were good and tight ends that could make plays. And when you put Jeff Swaim out there, obviously they're probably going to have some. Michael Pruitt's probably going to be back after the broken ankle. He might not be back immediately, but you're probably going to have a third tight end.
He's not on the roster. He's not signed.
He's not signed yet.
They're going to sign him.
Well, they're going to have a third tight end regardless. It's going to be Hooper, Swaim, and then some third tight end. And then that's when Ryan Tannehill succeeds the most, is when he has that tight end outlet, because one, he needs someone to help block, and two, you need someone as an outlet when your wide receivers aren't getting open. And that's when Ryan Tannehill succeeded. He loved throwing to Jonnu Smith.
In the red zone especially.
Oh, yeah. Look, when Jonnu Smith was on this team, Anthony Firkser in the red zone, dangerous. But when it was just Anthony Firkser and all the tight end attention went to him, I mean, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Good point.
And when last year, I mean, running Jeff Swaim and Anthony Firkser and then a little bit of Michael Pruitt, that's not the three. That's not the three tight end set that the Titans want to run with Ryan Tannehill.
And I told y'all before the show, but a third wide receiver I want the Titans to go get. I don't want a rookie wide receiver. I want to draft O-line in the first round.
Oh, I know.
I want Devontae Parker from the Dolphins. He's available. You could get him for a similar price that you got for Robert Woods, probably a little bit more. You're probably going to have to go a next year's 4th round picks compared to a next year's 6th round pick. Still a day 3 pick. And for a 3-headed monster of A.J. Brown, Devontae Parker, and Robert Woods.
Plus a rookie wide receiver, because they're going to go rookie wide receiver. It may not be in the first round. Yeah, but I mean, there's this wide receiver class deep. You could get a solid wide receiver in the 3rd round.
My only problem with Devontae Parker is his health. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, and that's a big thing in the NFL, because we saw the same thing with Julio. When Julio played, he was actually all right when he was actually on the field. But when you're out for most of the season with injuries, you have no chance to make an impact on the game.
I don't know.
Now, I think Devontae Parker is a great wide receiver when he's healthy. So we're just going to have to see if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think he would definitely help the Titans. But that's a big if.
And look, like you said,
he's also cheap. It'd be a 1-year rental. I looked at his cap hit today. It's like $6 million.
Look,
yeah,
and look, they cleared up over almost $8.5 million with Kevin Byard restructuring. Obviously, can we take a second talk about how awesome Kevin Byard is to the state of Tennessee? I mean, one, MTSU, Mayor of Murfreesboro, awesome. Goes to Nashville and is the most team first guy that is one of the most team first guys that the Titans have seen in a long time. I mean, the stuff he's done with his own contract to help the team and help the defense get better and help the offense get better, just giving them more space to work. I mean, that's really what you want out of your star safety.
You don't have a choice.
I mean, he has a choice.
No, he does. Like, it's like the way they do it, like, the team just does it. It's honestly better for the player. Like, the Titans just wrote him a check today. And we're like, here's your money for that would be your salary. And you're making league minimum the rest of the season.
But the dude's done it like 3 years in a row. Ever since he got that big contract, he has restructured his contract.
I understand that. And I think that is good. It's a good thing. And, that's great. But the thing is, you have to remember that restructuring your contract
takes it down the line.
Yeah, it's just a signing bonus, basically. They gave him a signing bonus, and he got his money earlier.
And he also will have a bigger cap hit later in his contract when the Titans might want to cut him. It's better for the player. It gives you more security later on in your career, and you get all your money up front. It's really a no-brainer. And some contracts have language in it where the Titans can just do it automatically. They don't even have to call Kevin Byard.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Byard has the respect of the front office enough where they're going to give him a call and be like, hey, you mind if we restructure? We're going to restructure your contract. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying that it's not like he's taking $10 million less or something like that.
He literally is making the same amount of money.
I'm sure he would later in his career. He gives off that kind of vibe as a player that he would do that for Tennessee.
Hey, real quick, this is totally off topic from Kevin Byard, but it just entered my mind. What about a Julio reunion with Matt Ryan?
No.
Chris Ballard's stupid. He's not that stupid.
Well, okay.
Julio
First off, the Colts
wants a lot of money.
Julio wants to get paid right now. Last year, or on the Titans, Julio was getting paid $22.5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that. That's what he wants. No team who's already made horrible moves is going to be stupid enough to make that move. And listen, Julio, great wide receiver when healthy. Like Bryson said,
he was a great wide receiver. He's not a great wide receiver anymore.
He's a role player.
He was a good wide receiver too last year when healthy. The problem is he was never on the field. And I don't think the Colts are stupid enough to go and get a wide receiver that's never going to play. I would have loved, look, if Matt Ryan stayed in Atlanta, I would have been all for it. I would have been put Julio over there in Atlanta, let him finish out his career where he started, let him do it.
I also really just don't want to see Julio play for the Colts.
Yeah, Jackson loved Julio on the Titans. His screensaver was Julio.
It still is. Like
he would be
just make it Bobby Tree.
He would be heartbroken. But I don't know. I've heard the Patriots. I've heard
Dallas.
I'd like him in Tampa. Tom Brady wants him in Tampa.
Brady. Hold on. We haven't talked about Tom Brady.
Too bad Tom Brady will be in Miami.
Okay. First off, Tom Brady comes out of retirement after 2 months. The news on it, nothing. There was like zero coverage on it compared
because it wasn't surprising.
And it happened during Selection Sunday.
Yeah,
he just said a big middle finger to college basketball. He's like, I'm coming back, baby, on Selection Sunday.
It was
like, stop y'all ESPN coverage now.
Yeah, he was like, hey guys, I'm coming back. All right, get back to your regularly scheduled program. But Jack, he's not going to Miami.
No, he's not, but it's fun to think about.
It is fun to think about.
I don't think it's that fun to think about. I don't think they'd be that great with him.
Yes, they would.
I mean, they would be a top.
Jackson, shut up. Yes, they would.
Oh, come on. You're telling me the Dolphins are, I mean, they would be a playoff team. They would be you're telling me that's a top 3 team in the AFC with Tom Brady?
I think a Tom Brady team is the top 3 in any conference.
You can't count them out. You're telling me that Bucs team was a top 3 team in the NFC last year with Tom Brady?
Yes.
Yeah, they had the 2 seed. I mean,
but they definitely were. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. NFL wise, were they a top 3 team?
No, you said in the conference.
Yeah, you said
the NFC's bad. I kind of forgot how bad the NFC was.
In the AFC, probably not. He would definitely make the playoffs easily.
I think they would win that. You know, he owns that AFC East division anyway.
But usually the team he owned, or actually the Dolphins were the team that he didn't own as much as every other team. When he was on the Patriots.
And the Bills are really good now. Yeah. The Bills were horrible the whole time. They were good his last season.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll get more into that on a cover forward that we will do eventually. There's just been so much going on, but we're going to go to break. Coming up next, we're going to talk some NBA, talk Ja, and should the Grizzlies worry that he's out for the rest of the season? That and more coming up here on Rock Solid Sports on WTK 90.3 The Rock.
The Rock stays on air thanks to The Hill Bar and Grill in the Fort on Forest Avenue. The Hill is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for food and drinks inside or on the expanded patio with appetizers like spicy cheese bings and a menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. Saturday and Sunday breakfast menu. HGTVs everywhere and 2 levels of entertainment. Trivia Mondays, karaoke Thursdays, and DJs on the weekends. The Hill is home for Rock Solid Sports Friday broadcast at 7 p.m. On social media at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from listeners and from the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team, whose 2021-2022 home ice season includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, and others at the Civic Coliseum in downtown Knoxville. The Ice Bears regular season runs through April 9th, and season and single game tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Tune in to WUTK Rock Solid Sports for the Wednesday Ice Bears news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
You got damn good instruments and got a pretty good band, but you don't know how to do.
90.3 The Rock, modern rock radio, where we definitely know how to do.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to listener donations and support from the UT Athletic Department. After making it to Omaha last season, the 2022 baseball fall season begins in February and runs into May, featuring games with SEC rivals South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Season, group, and individual game ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show their valid UT ID at the gate for entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Volunteer Radio stays on air thanks to Cool Beans, the 21 Up college sports bar next to campus on Lake Avenue, a block off the strip. Cool Beans has 25 rotating beer taps and bottles. HD TVs everywhere, along with darts, pool, and arcade games. Open every day at 11 a.m. till late night. Burgers, wings, and sandwiches, vol card accepted. Cool Beans hosts Rock Solid Sports every Monday night at 7. Trivia Tuesdays, Bingo Thursdays. More on Instagram at Knox Cool Beans or CoolBeansBar.com.
Support to keep WUTK on air comes from listeners and from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Texas A&M, Auburn, and others. Allvols.com for Lady Vols softball tickets and more. UT students need a valid UT ID for admission to all home games. WTK's Rock Solid Sports provides UT softball coverage. Volunteer Radio wishes the 2022 Lady Vols softball team good luck as they compete to return to the College Softball World Series. Volunteer Radio remains on air thanks to support from Fieldhouse Social, a modern sports bar and restaurant next to the UT campus at University Commons. Open every day at 11 a.m., serving American craft fare, beer, and cocktails inside or on the covered patio. With over 25 HD TVs at every angle and all UT games shown on the 20-foot LED TV wall. At FH Social Knox on Instagram, fieldhousesocial.com.
Welcome back to Rock Solid Sports, the Friday edition, sponsored by the Hill Bar and Grill. I'm your host, Joseph Bonanno. Next to me, I got Jack Foster across the glass, Jackson Williams, Bryson Wright, and over at our gracious sponsor, the Hill Bar and Grill, we have Riley Haltom. Riley, how's it going over there?
You know how it is. It's always good over here at the Hill. We got March Madness on. We got the Tennessee baseball game on. Still 0-0 there. But, hey, it's always a good time down here at the Hill. Come down here, get some food, get some drinks, watch some sports. You know how it is. It's always a good time.
Absolutely. And like you said, the baseballs are, looks like top of the second inning. They got Drew Gilbert on first base with no outs. And Trey Lipscomb just walked. So now they have first and second with no outs, top of the second. So we're going to get into some NBA because there is some news with the local team, the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to kick it over to our Grizzlies beat writer, Bryson Wright. Tell us what's going on over in Memphis.
Well, on Wednesday, it came out that Ja Morant has had some knee soreness. He's going to be reevaluated in about 2 weeks, which is basically the end of the regular season. But the good thing is the MRI showed that there is no real damage. I really think that they're just trying to rest him until the playoffs start. Honestly, that's how it feels. Coach Taylor Jenkins said that if the playoffs had started on Wednesday when they ruled him out, he would have played in that playoff game. So it's not something where he wouldn't be able to play through it, but it is not smart to play through it, especially when the Grizzlies just clinched the playoff spot last night in their game against the Pacers. But going back to Wednesday, the Grizzlies got an ESPN All Access Day where First Take came to Memphis with Stephen A. Smith. NBA Countdown was in Memphis with Malika Andrews, Kendrick Perkins, and all those people. So they brought out everybody out to Memphis. And sadly, Ja did not play, but it gave the Grizzlies a chance to kind of show the world what they've been showing me all season, and that is that they are much more than just Ja Morant. They improved to 16-2 on the season when Ja doesn't play. So that just shows their depth and how many other great players they also have.
But I saw a TikTok of Richard Jefferson who calls the game for ESPN.
Yes,
and he was hot. I wasn't playing, and they flew everybody out to Memphis.
Oh well, I think they asked Richard Jefferson. They were like, Malika Andrews opened the show. She was like, we're all happy to be in Memphis, and Richard Jefferson was like, I'm not so happy. But I think he's a little bit too uppity for Memphis. You know, you got to be a certain kind of person to like Memphis.
He lived in Cleveland, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why he's so uppity. Like, I'm with you. Like,
but he's like a coastal guy. He grew up in Arizona, like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He played in Cleveland, but he played in Cleveland because LeBron was there.
But he also played for like New Jersey.
Yeah,
Some
that's true.
That's
true. That's true. I don't know. I just feel like Richard Jefferson is not a Memphis person the way that Kendrick Perkins is a Memphis kind of person.
Hey, Bryson, I got to ask just real quick, give us an update on how the playoffs are looking, because, you know, we got 2 weeks left of the regular season. So what are the playoffs looking like right now? Who's looking good in the playoffs? Who's looking kind of, you know, on the edge? Well, what are we thinking right now?
Well, I'll go ahead and start in the Western Conference. Obviously, I am really high on the Grizzlies. They're sitting at the 2 seed right now. But the team to beat in the Western Conference is by far the Phoenix Suns. They are 60-14. Chris Paul just returned from his injury with about 9 games left to kind of get in a rhythm. They went to the finals last year, won the Western Conference last season. I think that they are the team to beat in the West. I think that between them, the Grizzlies, and the Warriors, one of those 3 teams are going to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. But for now, I'm going to go with the Suns, as much as it hurts my heart, just because their depth is insane. They play great defense. Offensively, they have guys coming off the bench like Cameron Johnson, who, when Devin Booker and Chris Paul were both out, had a 38-point game, 21 in the fourth quarter, and a game winner. So they have guys coming off the bench that could be starters. And in the Eastern Conference, I'm saying the Milwaukee Bucks, even though they started off kind of slow, they've had some injuries. You saw what they did last year. Giannis, in my opinion, is still the best player in the league. But the team that has been on the come up lately, that has been the second best team in the entire NBA since the beginning of January, is the Boston Celtics. They have moved up to the 4 seed. They were in the play-in before they went on this run. They play great defense. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been playing incredible over this stretch. They've been beating good teams. They've been blowing out bad teams. They've only lost 9 games since the beginning of January. They're going to be a very tough out in the Eastern Conference. But obviously, I think this year the Eastern Conference is a little bit better. There's a couple other teams, the Philadelphia 76ers with the addition of James Harden. Only problem with James Harden is he doesn't show up in the playoffs. We're going to see if he can change that narrative. But Joel Embiid, he's an MVP candidate. I think he's going to be awesome for them in the playoffs as well. So the Eastern Conference has, I think, a couple more teams that can contend, rather than in the West, where I think it's really only a 2 or 3 team race, where in the East, I could see 5 or maybe even 6 teams come out of the East and go to the NBA Finals.
And isn't Grant Williams playing pretty well for the Celtics right now?
Yes. And
Batman?
Yeah.
You're talking about Batman?
The crazy thing about Grant Williams is, obviously, this is for Tennessee fans. In college, he was not known as a 3-point shooter. But in the NBA, he has completely transformed his game, and he is shooting over 42% from 3 this year with the Boston Celtics and playing great defense. So if you haven't been watching him on the Celtics, you should definitely check it out.
Absolutely. And guys, just a little quick update for baseball. It is currently 1-0 after an Evan Russell single scores Drew Gilbert. Luke Lipsius is at the plate with bases loaded after a Christian Moore walk. We will see. So tune into that game right now. This has been Rock Solid Sports.
How many outs, Joe?
Do what?
How many outs?
No outs currently.
No outs. Bases loaded.
Bases loaded. So, this has been Rock Solid Sports. It's been fun. I'm your host, Joseph Bonanno. I got Jack Foster, Bryson Wright, Jackson Williams, and over at the Hill Bar and Grill, we got our man Riley. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's show. And enjoy some baseball this weekend, because we all know everyone's March Madness brackets are busted. You're listening to Volunteer Radio 90.3 The Rock. Rock Solid Sports.